Oh, yeah. It's my favorite time of the day. You know that?
This time?
I wake up every day on Thursday, just kind of, all right, talk time, see what's going on with the community here. So, um, yeah, man, I'm excited. Are you guys excited?
Yeah, I am.
I
I
am.
got a question though. Have you ate supper? Because every one of these you do, you're like, man, I haven't eaten supper yet.
I actually have a muffin, and I do have a coffee. So I got like this canned coffee from Circle K, the mocha. Oh, dude, it's actually not bad. Not bad. But yeah, last weekend was an interesting question that we got on a topic about coffee. Are you guys coffee drinkers or no?
I never used to be. I am now. I was a Red Bull
Big
guy.
time.
Oh, Red Bull every day?
That was my morning coffee, and then I just quit. I'm like, I'm just going to stop drinking them, and then I started drinking coffee. A coffee
Okay.
in the morning, and then I have a coffee when I come home from work.
Yep. Yeah. I'm kind of on the same program. I get an afternoon coffee too. Jeff, what about you? Coffee guy?
Oh yeah, big time.
Every day? Every morning?
Every day.
All
Are
day
you
long? Can you
all
do
day?
all day long?
I'm trying not to have it in the afternoon, but in I'll have it in the evening.
I
I could have a
gotcha.
cup and then go
So
to bed.
you don't
You can
want to
still go
do
to
it all
sleep?
day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Some of those long weekend races, it's like, hey, can you go run to Starbucks or
So let me ask you guys this. This was my main question: was you guys Starbucks or you guys Dunkin' Donuts?
I
I
don't
will
like Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I
Black
will
I would
go to a gas station before I go to Starbucks.
Gas stations, dude. Wow.
I'm just not a Starbucks fan. Like I mean I can go there and I'll find
Right,
something
right,
to
right,
get,
right.
but you know what I mean. But I just don't. I don't
Oh yeah.
go there too much.
All right, let's say hello to some of the guys that are already on and watching. Plexers, hello. Not sure Plyxers. Uh, Wes BRC, what's going on? We've got Joe Laws, yo yo yo. Tom Bolger, what's happening, Tom? What's going on? We'll get Cory back into the show there. Oh,
There.
you lost your spot, buddy.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm good.
Actually spoke to Tom last night on the phone. He was actually we're kind of doing. He wanted to get sponsored by TLR, so what I did was I want to reach out to the guys and talk to them personally and get to know them and what their story is about before I start talking contracts and getting on the team and stuff like that. So I actually spoke to Tom last night. I'm gonna get back to you, Tom, later tonight after the show. I got some good news. Nico Listy, what's going on? A regular, been
What's up,
watching a lot
Nico?
of the shows. Yeah, had a ton of questions. Very interactive with us. So welcome back, Nico. We've got Jim Silve, man. Jim, Arizona Speedster there. Got Rob Pauly. What's going on, Rob? Good to see you. What's up? Jay Bless. This guy, another dude that is constantly on and watching the show. Thanks for watching and
yeah.
being a part of it. And we got RC Frank Paulin. What's going on, Frank? Got Jason Westfall in the house. I believe he's from Georgia. And then we've got Michael Mala and Andrew Strekovich just joined us. And Steve
What's up,
Emmons.
Malat?
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in and watching the show. This weekend, we've got a special show. We normally have the Thursday talk with TLR, featuring a special guest in the industry. But this time we have two guests, and they are the newly announced RTM, which is kind of what I've called it internally, RTM, which stands for an acronym for Regional Team Manager. So we've got Geoffrey Kaufman in the house and Cory Richardson. What's up, guys?
Not much. How are you? Doing good. Excited to get back racing.
You've
And
been
Jeff,
racing like 3 days a week.
I know. Mulatto said last night, he goes, man, you race more now during the pandemic than you did before.
Yeah.
It's a lot slower now. Yeah, it's a lot slower now. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing
Yeah,
great.
everything's going well. So let's get a little update and a little just a bio about you guys, where you guys are from, what region you guys are at, and what RTM area you're in charge of. Let's start with Cory, and we'll work our way over.
I got the Midwest. I've been racing since I think I got my first car in '84, Hornet. Started with the Hornet. Yeah. The gold. Yeah, way back. And went to the Gold Tub RC10. Then, when the JRX2 come out, I got that, and I've been racing 20 years consecutive now. I took a break, when I was in high school. Got out of high school, got married, had kids. But yeah.
The Hornet. How was that thing? Was it a pile?
Dude, it broke all the time. All the time.
What broke on it the most, you think?
The rear gearbox. It would just snap in half.
So back in the day, did they have parts?
Yeah, you could get replacement parts.
Okay.
I don't think I had it that long. I think that was right when I got that. Then the RC10 came out, and then I was onto that one. Then we raced some dirt oval. Then I got a Dominator. Raced dirt oval with the Dominator. Yeah. Raced carpet 12 scale. Raced all kinds of stuff. Whatever was close by.
Yeah.
Because I depended on my grandparents, to take me to the track because I was young. But and I loved it. I mean, I think all my friends that I have nowadays are RC guys.
Yeah, for sure. What is your favorite class to race if you've raced so many?
Probably two-wheel off-road.
Two-wheel, baby.
Yeah.
More than 8 scale.
Yeah, nowadays. I mean, I raced 8 scale. I raced 8 scale a lot, years ago. But dude, I'm about 48 years old. I can't see that backstretch on a lot of those tracks.
Yeah.
That is my problem coming from 10 scale. When I started doing 8 scale and driving e-buggies, like the biggest thing that I had difficulties with it was the size of the tracks and being so far away from the cars, because when you're doing 10 scale indoors, it's a very limited distance that you're actually looking at the car. And when you go to 8 scale, especially outdoors, the tracks are sometimes just so big, and I was not very comfortable being able to control the car when it's really far away, especially in the corners. Yeah,
I mean, Joe Laws and I, we traveled every weekend, probably, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago, racing 8 scale. And then we helped Kevin at State Line. We built that track for years, and it started out as a small track. And then every year we'd add a lane. And then as we got older, we're like, why did we make this thing so big?
More work.
It is a lot of work. And then 8 scale is just a lot of work, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what about you?
Well, my area is the Northeast.
Yep.
And one thing I've realized in listening to people like Cory and pretty much anything in the industry, I'm relatively new.
Yeah.
I don't have a long history of racing, but like Cory, I did start with a Hornet back in the late 80s. No formal racing, but my buddies, we had Grasshoppers, Hornets, the Frog, all those Tamiya cars.
Yeah.
And they broke all the time, and you'd convince your mom to bring you 20 miles across town to the hobby shop and go find the parts you need just so you could go run again. And we'd pound those batteries at that little dial DC charger and just keep running. So put those away, and I never did any formalized racing, but it was after I had my kids, I bought a Slash for, I think it was Aaron, for one of his younger birthdays, and we destroyed that thing that first year. So it was in a pile in the garage for many years until I finally decided to go get it fixed. And we showed up at this dirt track here in town, the first organized racing I had actually ever seen. And that was 6.5 years ago. And here we are now. So dove right in and really enjoying it.
What broke easier, the Hornet or the Slash?
Probably the Hornet.
Okay.
But I
I
think
was
it was
just
the way
checking.
we treated the Slash. I think it was a motor issue. We just burned the motor out on the Slash, trying to go faster and faster and faster.
Oh, okay.
So then we got it fixed and tuned it up for organized racing here in town.
Kept on adding cells into that thing, huh?
Oh yeah, faster.
The fastest way to burn up a Slash, just keep adding cells, man.
I actually burned it up on it was a sandbar out on Cape Cod with paddle wheels.
Oh,
that'll do it.
You went
quick.
that far.
Yeah, we were vacationing.
You went
out
custom
there.
with paddles and everything, huh?
Oh yeah, full VXL, fast stuff.
Yeah, it's funny how the intro RC gear, like what we use to catapult us into the racing stuff, it's like everybody's, it's either like a Tamiya Hornet or a Frog or a Blackfoot or something, or the newer generation of guys, there will be Slashes and stuff. That's what they started out with, and then at some point they convert over once they kind of see more of the serious type of cars that were designed and engineered for racing. And next thing you know, their path, their direction just shifts and goes a totally different direction, and then they get way more into racing. But it's funny, the Slash, the Slash and Hornet is almost everybody's like first cars. It's crazy.
Yeah, we have a lot of gratitude to give the Traxxas company for the Slashes. I think that introduces a lot of people to racing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't imagine how many people got into RC with the Slash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And still do.
Yeah,
and with the Mud Boss and the Oval.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very important cars in the industry, I think. And unfortunately, right now, I just feel like we don't really have like a beginner car or a beginner class, or a kit that was designed and aimed for beginners. It's just not in the racing side of stuff. I feel like the racing stuff is just like it's too high end almost.
It's very tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then being part of the local track here that's just started out, so I'm seeing a lot of new guys get into it, and without help, man, they would be lost. You know what I mean? Because there's just so, like you said, Jeff, it's so sophisticated that they don't know where to start. And the whole tire part, the whole, to tell a guy, you need to sand these tires down to about slicks for it to work, and then usually I'll give them a set to try, and they're like, holy Moses, like now it's enjoyable to drive.
Yeah.
But that's just stuff that we take for granted that, the new guy needs to learn.
Yeah. There's a lot of information, I think. This hobby is so like hands-on in terms of passing it on to somebody else. It's hard. Like if you wanted to fix, like for instance, I was using the analogy yesterday, like if you wanted to fix brakes, for instance, on your car, you go to YouTube and just Google that in, or YouTube it in, and then you'll get like 100 videos, like tons of information. And if you do a specific search for maybe gluing tires or something, you might find a couple 2 or 3 videos out there gluing RC tires, but it's harder to find, and most of the information that gets passed, it's very hands-on. We have to show people like at the track physically versus them being able to, one, just be motivated enough to find answers for themselves, and then 2, there's just really not that much content out there to show you how people to get into the hobby even deeper. There's not that much video.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big gap to go from crashing around your backyard to then getting into organized racing. And we didn't really have much of that around here when we got into it. We had a small dirt track, and then that very season we started, I think we showed up like in July, and it closed in September, and they closed that off-road track. So good thing someone opened an indoor facility, which I eventually ended up running with a friend of mine later on. But yeah, to go from running up and down your street into organized racing, there's a big jump, and it can be very scary or daunting to people. And if you don't have any peers that are already around doing it, you're left to going online and trying to find out all that information for yourself.
Well, and I feel like we have to reach out to the new guy because it's very overwhelming to them, and sometimes I feel like they don't want to come up and say anything to us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure. I have that same feeling.
So you have to reach out to them. We helped a ton of new guys every week at Bill's, just to get them up to speed. You don't want to see them get frustrated and then go home and put it on the shelf and never come back, because that's what will happen. That's what will happen.
Yeah, and then they say, no one helped me. Even if they didn't go out of their way to engage in some personally to get some help, they might just, like, I don't know anything. It might be a dumb question. I don't feel like asking these people because I might sound stupid because I'm so new. And then they don't go home. They go home without ever learning answers or getting help. And then, like you said, they end up putting the cars on the shelf for a long time because the experience of when they went to go race, it wasn't very fun for them.
Right.
Yeah, Frank Root in the house, man. Look at that. Good old Frank. Checking it out. So yeah, I think this is one of the reasons I think you guys are aware of some of the issues with the team setup and the support setup that's out there. Every day you can see and you can sense that the teams are getting bigger, and I felt like there was a disconnect between the team managers, the team drivers, the local tracks, and just the team support. I felt like it could be better, and so that's why I was really kind of focused when I joined TLR, was to establish the RTM program with a regional team manager program, because I knew having guys that I can trust and that I could depend on to go out there and help people and pass on that information in a positive way, and be able to communicate with the team better, with the area better, with the tracks, the local community. I felt like the RTM program, I just had to start this so that we can improve those areas just by so much more, because I know I'm very limited on the time that I have and the effort that I have to be able to do to wear so many hats in my position. But if I could get some help and guys that have the same kind of mindset that I do in terms of helping the community and building the RC the community, the RC community, and facilitate that at a track level, at a grassroots level. I knew I had to get this started, and here we go. Fast forward a month and some, and a lot of meetings and paperwork and time invested on my part. I was really happy and really stoked to get this going with everybody. Talking to you guys individually, getting your guys' ideas and opinions about how team structure is supposed to be, and what the team dynamic is, and how we can improve. And just from our first last week, we had our first regional team manager meeting, which all of us, all 8 of us, were linked up on Messenger, and being able to communicate and get on the same page. I thought that the conversation and the enthusiasm and the energy was just awesome. So I felt like it was the right move in terms of how to strengthen and improve team structure. And I think the guys that we have, man, you two and the other 5, just incredible individuals. And I just think all of you guys are going to add so much to the team dynamic here at TLR. I'm new, so it's not like I can say, oh, you guys are going to change. We're going to change all the stuff. But I just have a feeling that there's going to be a substantial impact that we're going to have at the races when we get to go to all the races together, and when we're not at races, where we can communicate and figure out plans and talk about ideas and how to improve performance, how to improve interactions between certain team drivers, and try to extrapolate the most performance we can. And while we're still having fun, everybody, each one of you guys, the RTM guys, are a lot of fun, So I was more than happy to incorporate you guys into the team and be able to, use a group effort to improve the racing versus just my own individual efforts. So yeah, I'm stoked. The RTM thing, I think, already has made a lot of impact already. Zeke's been communicating with me quite a bit. We've got new drivers added to the team, so we're talking about new drivers and how to, what events we're gonna go to. So I'm just really excited about all the potential and the possibilities, man. And I know you guys share the same enthusiasm as well.
Yeah, we do, and I think everybody's chomping at the bit to get back racing, and
yeah.
And I think, just kind of going to the races in the Midwest in the last few years and helping all the young kids, like they like the TLR vibe because it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they got to have fun, because if they're not having fun, then why are we even doing this, right?
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into what the next topic that I wanted to talk about is what kind of things can we improve with the team dynamics, do you think, right now in the current state of racing? Like, what do you guys feel is lacking? What do you guys feel could be much better? Like, what areas do you guys feel like could be improved in racing right now in terms of the team dynamics at races?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I like how Cory's just like, let me think. You go, buddy. Go ahead, Jeff. I nominate you.
Personally, I want to get out and get to know more people in the Northeast. I don't know all the people that are out there racing, and it's hard to get to all the tracks and get to the races that are out there. But I have a personal mission to try to just get out, get to know people, because I realize I don't know everything, and I know that, and I want to learn more. There's a lot of drivers in the Northeast. They've been racing a long time, and they're a wealth of knowledge, and I'd love to be able to get involved in that and learn from them, particularly on the 8 scale, the nitro. I mean, I know a lot, but I realize there's so much I don't know, and I want to get to know them better, try to help when I can at the races, try to get to some races, even if I'm not personally going there with myself or one of my children, but just try to be there and interact. And that's my personal mission, just get to know the people in the Northeast. And as you and I have talked, just, look strategically to grow the team in the proper manner, get key individuals in certain areas. So we can expand the brand, but also the knowledge base in their local region, so they can then help people at their own track or within the tracks in their region as well. So personally, I just want to see TLR be a fun team. People looking from the outside in saying, I want to be a part of that team, because they always have fun. Their equipment's good. And I mean, between Frank and Ryan and Gil, the products we have now are just getting so good.
Yeah, so I'm very impressed with the few moves. Just since DNC, watching the 8 scale platforms, it's a nice direction for sure, and then there's a lot of momentum. And I can definitely, they've worked their butt off to make sure the products are always improving. So, and that's one of the things that what you mentioned, like you guys like Frank and Ryan, Todd, Gil, any one of the 7 RTM guys, including myself, there's so many layers of help and that you could reach out to, which is, I think, kind of unique to TLR. When you go to the other teams, there might be one team manager, and that's all you interact with. And then if that person doesn't respond, or if they're busy, you can't really get any answers. With TLR, one of the cool things that I've found just being here is, in my own quest to find answers and to problem solve, I've had to look for help and to get help, and there's just so many layers. I could text any one of you guys for opinions or questions or answers. Earlier today I texted Barry Baker, and I'm like, hey Barry, man, what I need some questions. Do you have any good ideas to, because Dakota's doing a podcast, so I had to get some questions kind of ready to go tomorrow to help the other side out, because they didn't really know, they don't know much about Dakota. So kind of filled in some information. I was like, Barry, what's going on? What are some good questions? And he shot back some possible questions. They were great. So like, there's so many layers of support. If I had any questions, I could ask Todd. If it's 10 skill stuff, I ask Frank. He knows everything. If it's 8 skill stuff, I ask Ryan, you know what I mean? So like these guys just have so much knowledge, and you know, being able to access that or have them on your side, it's just a huge benefit.
I feel like that's one of the things with TLR is the communication. Like if you have a question, you're going to get the answer from somebody. Anybody will reach out to you. Dakota will give you an answer. Tom will give you an answer. You know, any one of them will reach out to you and give you the answer you need. Nobody's hiding anything.
Yeah. And me personally, I don't think I've not replied to people. So I've been answering everybody that's questioning me with questions, emails, texts. For those who are watching and want to know, just what's the best way to communicate with me is just text me on Facebook Messenger. It's a lot faster. Like I'm basically on Facebook all day, and if I get a message, usually that's the first thing that pops up. So if you guys have a question, or team drivers, or anybody that's watching that had questions that wanted to get a hold of me, the best way is actually to just text me. And email, like it really depends on what emails I get to see in terms of like what notification pops up. A text message seems to always pop up. Emails kind of sometimes come and sometimes don't, and so they might, you know, I might miss a couple hours before I reply to an email just because I didn't get the notification. So yeah, so if you guys are wondering, that's the best way, just to text me on Facebook. You can text any of these guys as well. And Geoffrey, if you're in the Northeast, text Jeff about TLR related questions, setups, car info, hey, you know, or just racing advice. You know, even though Jeff's probably the newest of the TLR guys in terms of the RTM stuff, he's got a lot of experience. The last few years doing, when I was working at JC, I saw Jeff a lot at the big races, and he's got that the big race experience, that high pressure situation. He knows what he's doing. So reach out to Jeff. And if you're in the Midwest, and you've got TLR questions or concerns, hit up Cory. He's more than willing to help. Texting is always probably the easiest. Emails probably, I'm pretty sure emails probably work for you guys too.
Yeah, you can message me, and I pride myself on getting back in a very timely manner.
Yeah, I think that's a nice thing, you know, about you guys is that if I ever text you guys, I get a text message back. So the line of communication is good. So yeah, if you guys have questions, email any three of us or any of the other 5 regional team managers. They've got answers, or if they don't have answers, they are definitely people that can problem solve and find answers for you.
We'll get the answers.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So concerns, issues, worries, just hit us up. We're more than willing to help anybody and everybody, regardless if you're on the TLR team or not. You know, that's kind of awesome, I think. So that's one of the things I want to talk about. The other thing I wanted to talk about is 3 things I really want to focus with the whole team dynamics of TLR, right? There's 3 things I feel like is very important. One is fun, right? Everybody that's doing RCs should be having fun. If you're not having fun, it's probably time to reevaluate what you're into, your time, you know what I mean? Because life is short. We don't want to be doing things and getting caught up in things that we're not having fun with, you know? It's after a while, if you're not having fun, you become toxic, and that's really not what we're trying to develop here. Just have fun, you know? The other thing that I would like this team to focus on, and I think you guys would agree, is being more helpful. You know, like Cory mentioned, that we got to help each other. This is one of those hobbies that that we have to take initiative to teach each other how to do stuff. You know, the information is out there, but it's very limited. You know, and a lot of people these days, they need the hands-on guidance. You know, they need to have someone interact with them and show them versus, yeah, here's the link, learn everything else on your own. You know, good luck.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming for somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I've said that many times, but it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it truly is, and we don't understand that because we already know most of this information. You know, we take it for granted. And then so the last thing, number 3 for me, I'm not sure how you guys feel, but number 3 for me is just being positive. I think if we remember to be positive, we can start to change a lot with our attitudes. You know what I mean? Like, sure, sometimes you might have a run that's frustrating, and sure, sometimes you didn't go out there and perform your best, and it's frustrating, right? But it's nice to be able to sit back and just kind of look at the bigger picture and appreciate what we have. Like right now during this COVID time, we can't go race, we can't go to the track, we can't hang out with our buddies. I think hopefully when we go back to racing, that a lot of people are more appreciative of what we're able to do and how we can enjoy ourselves, and choose to do whatever we like.
I would agree. I think it gives people time to, I think when you're racing every week in and out, you kind of take it for granted what we're doing. And then when it's taken away from you, you realize that, man, I miss my buddies. I miss racing. I miss the competition, and I feel like when we come back, I think that club racing is going to be pretty strong. Everybody always wants to go to the big races, but I think club racing may be strong for quite a while, hopefully. And then everybody comes back with a positive attitude, because like you said, some people get a little upset and things like that. And I don't think it's worth it. And I'm guilty of it too. You know what I mean? We've all been there.
When's the last time you got upset, Cory?
Probably a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I got upset during a race, and but as soon as I walked off the stand, like it's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it's called short track. It's called short track racing. It's a little off-road track, and sometimes that gets the best of you, But when you walk off the stand, it's over with, and it is what it is.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. Do you guys have any advice for people that struggle with maybe their temper or their anger management? Like, how do we improve that? Like, make people aware or make people improve that, not to have outbursts and not to I don't know, be so negative and toxic.
I think once you start being negative and you might say something on the stand, so now your focus is already taken off of your car. If you're up there jawing somebody, like, now you're focusing on that. You're not focusing on the car. I always just take a deep breath and, you just got to block it out. Like, but for some kids that's harder to do. I don't know the exact answer. You know what I mean? I think it's a mental thing. But once you expose that, your competitors know that you're done. You know what I mean? Your race is pretty much over if you're already up there losing your mind.
Rob Pauly says Robert must have taken you out. Is that true?
No, I don't think
so. Rob's like, dude, I know what happened, Robert. It must have been Robert.
No, it wasn't Robert, Rob.
Yeah, I think with tempers, I mean, everyone reacts differently, because whether it's club racing or on the national level, it's competition. And
yes,
for sure.
If you're doing it week in, week out, you're racing. You want to do your best. You want to win. I mean, let's not fool ourselves. We all want to win. And even though it's not for money, it's just for bragging rights or that night, we all react a little differently. So there needs to be a little allowance for it, but also the peers that are around to say, hey, you're doing your best. That was unfortunate, or you caused it, or whatever. Just not point fingers and realize there's always the next race day, there's the next race, there's next week, whatever be the case. And I think Cory's right. When the racing is removed from your life, like we've had for the last 2-3 months now, hopefully we all go back and realize or appreciate what we've had and the good times we can have, and realize we're all more or less the same. I mean, we're all trying to go enjoy something, and we're doing it with other people that have more or less the same mission. to enjoy something. And hopefully we stick with that. I think club racing will probably be pretty strong. Hopefully.
I hope so, man. I hope when we get back and everybody, we can be out in public and around people again. I hope a lot of people kind of remember what it was like to be in the rooms for 2 months and not really be able to enjoy what they like doing, you know. And a lot of people are starting to feel, you know, that I got to do something, you know. It's been long enough, and I hope when we get back to racing that the positivity and the eagerness and the you know, people wanting to help each other, I hope that really starts to build so that we can kind of rebuild the club racing scene, because you know, not racing for 2 months, it really affects the track, you know, the hobby shops with tracks.
Yeah, for sure.
How are some of the tracks around your areas dealing with this whole situation right now?
Our tracks, you know, in the Midwest, there's a lot of guys, you know, waffling off kits.
What is this waffle explosion?
I don't know.
I've been seeing it everywhere, man. And
why is
everybody's jumped in?
I think what they're doing is you know, all that money's going to the track, obviously.
You're right.
And then I think there's a lot of that. I think I know that some tracks guys have been just paying their entries, like PayPaling their entries like they would every week, even though there's no racing, just to support the tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That is really
because
cool.
If you don't support your track, I mean, you know, in this time, because let's be honest, like nobody's getting rich doing this. So it's pretty important for them to, you know, they count on that money.
Yeah.
And without it, without this stuff, I mean, they're not going to be around.
Right. Yeah. And if they're not around, then we have less places to go enjoy ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all circle. We're all connected, you know, like if we don't support them, we don't have a place to go race. And then eventually, you know, everything starts taking a downward spiral.
Yeah. I mean, before this local track we have now, it's 30 minutes from home. We drove 3 hours every week for years, to whether it was leisure hours, RC Clubhouse, Ohio RC Factory, everything in every direction from my town was 3 hours. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, that's 3 hours drive to go practice or to go run. That's a tough commitment to make week in, week out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of in that boat now. Most of our tracks are, you know, closest is an hour and a half, but it's not always open. And then we're 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Most of we have some local dirt 10 scale oval is big in our area. So a lot of our tracks are oval now, whether it be carpet, dirt. But in terms of off-road, which I'm involved in, you know, we have to drive a few hours, and the tracks are just starting to open up.
Yeah, why do you think some of the dirt tracks or some of the tracks have switched to oval? Just something new?
No, I mean, oval's been strong, at least in the Northeast, but in my immediate area that I have the most knowledge about, it's been strong for decades.
Okay.
Dirt oval has always been big here too.
Yeah, off-road would come and go, and you know, I ran a dirt off-road track up here for almost 5 years, and it really peaked when it was opened up, but then it just slowly dwindled to the point where it was all volunteer time. We didn't have a hobby shop that, you know, was part of the track or anything, and you know, unfortunately, you know, I decided to step away from it because it was taken away from my work, you know, because it was mostly volunteer time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
In the summer, so it was hard decision to make.
It takes a lot of effort to run a track.
Oh, kudos to anyone does it and still does it and has been doing it for years.
Anybody that owns a track or does track changes or you know, has been in business for a long time, owning a hobby shop and track, man, kudos to you guys. It's a lot of work. For those who haven't, you know, been part of many track builds or helping a hobby shop, man, it is hours and hours of work and for very little. And a lot of people come in with the mindset of being able to complain because it's their money they're spending. And it's just like, man, sometimes some of the complaints, can hurt, like this jump sucks, this whole place sucks. And then next thing you know, everybody's kind of on that negative bandwagon, and it really affects, what happens or how the racing is perceived from that point on. And people don't really realize that. I think what they say can really affect, especially when somebody's new, what their mindset is. You change that real quick by saying negative things, and eventually some people just buy into it and be like, that guy was right. This program, they do run it really slow. Like I could be out of here an extra hour early, but if you didn't say anything, they would have never even complained or thought about that.
Yeah, that stuff snowballs quick.
Yeah, it really, and that's where the word toxic comes in. Like you start to spread it out, and it just starts really eating away at stuff, man. It's very deadly. But if somebody's phone ringing,
that was
okay. If there's one thing that you could change about racing, what would that be?
Like club racing or
just RC racing, man? RC racing. Just what would that be? What would that one change be?
One thing.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I don't want to spread the negativity, too much. Yeah. So I just made it one thing.
I don't know.
But honestly, I just want to open people's minds a little bit about, it not being perfect, and there's ways to improve. We just have to work together to improve it.
I think the one thing would be for each of us to look internally on how we can better racing. Because, being home for 2.5 months, I have a lot of deficiencies, and I recognize them, and I'm very open with people about that. It goes on the whole bandwagon of we need to be more positive, because I've been negative. I've had my temper flares, even at races I'm not racing. I'm involved in things, and I see things that occur, and maybe all of us to just see we have a common vision, have a common mission of we're there to compete and have fun. So I would say the one thing, just not just on our team, all teams, all racers, just look internally and see what one thing can I change this week to bring to the track to be better, which then will spread to the next person, whether it's purposely helping someone or purposely not getting upset if you have a bad race, or purposely picking up the pit spot next to me, not only mine, but the guy who left his stuff on the ground and picking up that stuff. Going one step further each and every time you go to a race or a track or somewhere. And I think that would hopefully snowball. So the race, whether it's a club race, a national race, the whole experience is better.
Yeah.
And like I said, the last 2 months, whether it be for my work, I'm here in New York, and, things have been pretty weird, and it's caused us to really look, all right, how's my whole life? How's my work? How's my relationship with my family? How's my home? How's my racing? And, I think going back into things, going slower, easing back into it, me personally, just not just jumping full steam in again, but taking the time to appreciate what we have and try to be better no matter where I go, and make some changes somewhere, do something different, travel to a race that I'm not racing in, just to go and watch and help team drivers or other people that may not have experience with races.
I do that a lot, Jeff. I go to races and not race.
I do too, actually.
Yeah, you do. You do.
I bring a car. I bring a car.
Yeah, Jeff usually ends up not racing and it ends up helping out too. So I think all three of us, have the ability to. It's hard. This is very hard to do for any racer, and it took me a while to actually learn how to do this. And it is being able to show up to a track or a big race event and not feel like you have to go and race.
No, and I don't. I feel like I want the kids I want our kids to do well. Like all of our kids, you know, I would not race just to help them guys do whatever they need, whether it be, you know, I don't need to name names, you know, they all know who they are. But I feel like they, you know, they have the ability to keep raising the bar. They're racing to get to the top. Like I want to help them do that however I can. So I get satisfaction out of that. Whether it be grinding 60 sets of tires or or
did you have to do that?
Huh?
Did you have to do that?
No,
Thomas,
I
that's
didn't.
when you're supposed to ask, slicks or treads?
No, I didn't have to, but I did. You know, it's funny as Abbott was talking the other night on his Trinity one. He goes, Cory we rode to the track together, and he had rubber in his beard when we was leaving the track. And I was yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a beard that stout, man, it's gonna attract some stuff.
But I do like it, in all seriousness, I want to see the kids succeed. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, I ended up doing so when I was at J Concepts, right, in my last probably year that I was there, I was going to the same events because I was on my third year, and it was basically the same thing year after year. You know, same events. You know, I'm not complaining. It's a blast. It was a really kick-ass job, and I loved every minute of it. But at the end, when I show up to these events, I was kind of not getting. It's not like I was getting bored, but I felt like I needed to be challenged a little bit more because I kind of got used to what I needed to do, the responsibilities, the timing of everything. You know, I kind of got used to that. So when I was at these races last year, I kind of felt a little bit like I wasn't really utilizing my time as good as I could have. So then I made myself a promise that the next race I go to, I'm just going to start talking to people and helping people. You know, that was my that was my whole goal. So I would do the media coverage for J Concepts, made sure I did a good job at that, and then if I had free time, I would just talk to the team drivers and try to help if I could, whatever they needed, tire advice, mental advice, strategy, a set of tires, wheels, parts, whatever they needed. I tried to assist. Tried to help out as somebody there that I didn't know, that I normally don't help out. So I was like, okay, so this kind of gives me something else to work on besides not just my job with J Concepts, but actually kind of help people. And then each race I started to go to, I started finding myself helping more people. And then next thing I know, I'm like kind of talking to not just JC drivers, but like everybody. And then, you know, once I was able to kind of get, you know, at a level where I could speak to everybody and be able to help, and the people out there knew I was able to help, you know, it just became something that I was like doing almost 50-50 with my job at J Concepts, doing the media coverage, and then also trying to help the team and get that gratification, you know, when you're talking about just feeling that feel good when you know that you help somebody. And so not only did I was, you know, trying to do a good job with my job, my responsibilities, but also try to, you know, I also was getting that self gratification of feeling like I made a difference to some of these racers and some of the team drivers, you know, and it
and
felt,
you also learn a lot about people too, you know, when you talk to everybody.
Yeah, you learn a lot of information. So when I'm talking to people, I'm getting a lot of information, stuff about their personal racing, stuff about setup. So I'm kind of like downloading all this information that all these team drivers are having, or you know, concerns with the track. This jump face sucks, or you know, or this corner is getting blown out. So like I'm getting all this information, and then having to be able to communicate and talk to all these other drivers and being able to share some of that information so that they can learn something without actually having to learn it the hard way through a mistake or through a crash or through something, you know, or and then they could you know, hopefully get better results. And then towards the end, I felt, not only did I feel like I was making a difference or making an impact on people's racing, I just felt like our overall race events were just a lot more fun because I was engaging, I was talking, I was helping, and I didn't have to race to really feel like I was making a difference here. Like I didn't have to, be a racer. I could just help, and I feel like I was actually doing something very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that means a lot to those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the guys that you don't normally help, like that made their weekend. Like that you took the time to, engage and talk to them and help them.
And you know what happens? That when they ask for parts, I'll just ask one of our team guys, "Hey, do you have this part? This guy needs it." Because I don't have any parts. I'm a camera dude, I don't have any parts with me. So I'll just be like, "Hey, Lee, you got this part for him?" Or like, whoever, Dakota, you got this for this guy? He's looking for this, and then get them involved. But that's what happens is I was able to bridge people, and so I would get Dakota, and then like some random racer, he would come up and try to get some advice or help, and then I would be able to link them with somebody like Dakota, and then they were just like, whoa, I'm getting a part from Dakota Fenn, like holy crap, like wow, or Lee helps them out, or Jackson, or Mayfield, or whoever, and it was just cool to get these guys helping other guys as well as me helping too, and it was just a lot of fun, and being able to be around that kind of atmosphere was really something cool, man. It was really something different for me. So once I started that goal and started to work on that, and things kind of blossomed. And then fast forward a year later, this position opens up, and then next thing you know, it's like I've been able to exercise all this help with team drivers from all different companies and brands. I've been able to travel around and go to these races and get that race experience. So that step of me wanting to help really, I guess, helped me get to where I am at now. And I didn't realize it at the time. But that initiative of saying, hey, you know what, I'm kind of bored. I feel like I can do more, but I just don't really know how. You know what? I'm going to try to help these guys. I'm going to try to be more involved in their racing, and it just kind of snowballed. And now, like, it's just kind of become something that has now become my job to manage a team. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it helps that you like. I like talking. I mean, I like talking to everybody. I could spend all day at the track just walking around and talking. You know what I mean?
That's what you do.
I do. I talk a lot.
I don't.
If you guys see Cory at the track, he's always talking and helping somebody. Always, right?
Yep.
I mean,
that's telling lies to somebody. Telling stories.
Are you passing fake news around?
No.
Oh, sabotage.
Sometimes it gets deep though. Some of the conversations with these guys. It's all in good fun.
Okay. So Cory, did you answer the question? I think Geoffrey got done with his, what he would change. Cory, I think you didn't really get to answer yet. I kind of jumped in and related it to me, so for no real reason here.
Change as far as, I would change. I guess I would take a different avenue on that, on change. Like maybe during this time, I've seen a lot of people talk about, being in a race for 5 days. I've seen discussion on that or two. I may change that, but that's also a double-edged sword though. Like, how do you change that when these races also sell out? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, we could talk. This is a whole nother topic, but I think that's something I would change.
This is what this talk is about. Talking about racing, and how can we change it to improve it? How can we come up with a better formula that gets more people involved, have more fun, and be more helpful at the track, so that we can grow not just as a team, but just in racing in general.
Racing in general. Correct. Yeah, it's just hard for a lot of people to be gone for. I mean, theoretically, it's a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I enjoy going to and a lot of people enjoy going to those races, but it's just long. Like, I don't know. I always look at motocross, or Supercross. Those guys
hanging out 2 days.
A couple practice sessions and they're out. You know, I mean, yeah, guys want track time, but I feel like that's what club racing is for, is to work on your driving and stuff at home. And then you go to a big event and then you showcase what you've been working on at home as far as, you know, your driving skill or, you know, whatever setup. And I don't think we need 2 full days of practice at a lot of these events. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative, but
yeah, if they figured it out in motocross, you think we'd be able to figure it out too somehow, right?
Yeah, but I think that comes down to, like, this is a hobby for 99% of the people, so they like all that track time. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I definitely agree. I think some of these events are a lot longer than they need to be, you know, and it takes up a lot of time. And what happens in the end is people only have so many days off that they can take off from work. You know, their income is only so much. So it's like, can they really take 4 days off to go race? You know, more than once or twice a year? It's probably impossible for most people. You know, but if you can compress it down to like a 3-day format where it's just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's a little bit more real. I mean, you know, I think more people be able to do more events.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, some of the big races are, you know, it's travel Tuesday, practice Wednesday, practice Thursday with seeding, qualifying mains, travel home on Monday. You're
travel home Monday.
So like you're wasted on Tuesday, so it's a
whole
week.
Yeah, you gotta take a day off just to rest.
The RC hangover is legitimate.
You get the RC hangover kicking in. Yeah, man, it's some of it's nuts, dude. And then if you go to IFMAR Worlds, it's like 10 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't even. I mean, 10 days is just like, and that's a whole mental roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole nother game in itself. To be even keeled for, you know, that duration.
Things change fast. The thing about the Worlds that makes it really interesting is that driver position, like people's paces, it's jumping around constantly. Like you don't really know who really is the fastest dude, because one run they could be trying a set of tires that didn't work. You don't really know. You know, another run, maybe their setup was off. You know, one run, maybe they nailed everything and they were super fast, and then they figured out, okay, this is a pretty good package. And then the next run, I gotta try something different to see there's more speed, and it doesn't end up working. So like, it's always really weird at the Worlds, because you never really know. You have a feeling who's the fastest, but you never really know until the actual first round of qualifying goes down and lap times are put down. And then once that happens, you're like, okay, so this is where people are and what people's paces are. And then, you know, things still change, because a lot of guys will come upon something that really clicks for their car, or they'll try the right set of tires or compound, and their pace jumps up dramatically. So like, you never really know like who's going to win that thing. And then it's 8 skill. You could flame out at any time, you know, in the semis and never make it into the mains. You could be, you know, in an hour main, you could only run 5 minutes. You know, you never really know.
Yeah.
But
8 skill nitro is definitely pressure.
Yeah. So speaking of races, what's your favorite race, Cory and Jeff, that you've been to so far?
I like the AE race, which used to be the Spectrum race at Trackside.
What's all the names? Can you count all the names that it's had over the years?
No.
So it's what is it officially known as?
Now it's the AE Champs.
Okay.
Hosted by Trackside.
By Trackside. Okay. Before that was the Spectrum race.
Yeah.
Before that was Horizon race.
Mm-hmm.
Was there other names?
I don't think so. Yeah. I just like that race, just because the vibe at that track is probably one of the best vibes around. You know, everybody is just. Have you been to that race?
No, not yet. It's one of the major races I have not gone to. Paul actually goes to it every year. for J Concepts when I was there. So he kind of has been going there for a long time. So he just ended up going there every year. So good for him.
And Nitro was always the king of kings. The state line, like that was the best race ever. I mean, and to see that race, and to be around at the inception of that race, and to see it grow every year until the last race we had there, it was just awesome.
Yeah, it's they just end up closing because it just took too much time.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin had a good run, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of people around here is like, oh, I wish they would come back. I wish they'd come back. I'm like, there's not a chance. There's not a chance Kevin's coming back. Let him enjoy his free time,
How long did he do that track for?
And I don't know. I'm thinking he had a good 15 year run.
Wasn't it?
15. Yeah, I think a 15-year run. Yeah.
Yeah, 15 years to own a track and do every track build. That's a lot of hours going in.
Yeah. And Jeff, they've been there. Like they know the vibe. It was just it was the most laid back vibe, but the competition was fierce.
That makes a great race.
What about you, Jeff? What's your favorite race that you've gone through so far?
For 10 scale, I really enjoy driving to Ohio in the middle of the winter for the Midwest Champs. There's something about that race. It's
what
I get to see Cory. I like that race. I really do.
Wow.
It's going to be 40 degrees when you get there, and then it's going to be negative 10 by the time you leave. You're going to get,
Yeah.
Well,
Kurt makes some great layouts. They're just so, like Cory said, it's sort of laid back. I mean, at least in the TLR pits, we're laughing constantly. We're taking pictures of, people, people sticking pit boards to poles. I mean, we're having a good time.
Pranksters.
It's not what you would call the greatest. I mean, it's the middle of Ohio. There's not much there.
Rose always has her therapy sessions there. Last year.
The chair. We had it was like 4 or 5 different people. It looked like
every time Jeff and I would turn around, Rose would be sitting over there knitting, talking to somebody different, and they would be sitting in that chair for 15, 20 minutes, and then somebody else would sit there. Yeah, I just like that race.
Yeah, okay. So I like that race for what it is. It's just something unique about it. My favorite race to go to though is I love Arizona, so I love the Desert Classic.
Oh, wow.
It's my favorite race to go to.
Yeah. Arizona, huh?
I love Arizona. Yeah.
The heat or the weather,
all of it.
About Arizona?
Yeah. When we were there for nationals in middle of August, it was 110. I liked it.
Oh, snaps. You like hot weather like that, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think Cory does. That beard, man. Whew.
No, it's 90. It was 90 here this week, and I told my wife I'm ready for fall.
So if you at the beginning of the show, I don't know if it was live or not, but Cory almost talked about shaving his beard just because it was too hot.
Yeah. But then I would regret it the next day. Probably.
I don't think I've ever seen you without a beard.
Yeah, I'll send you a couple. I look like I'm about 12.
You had a small one at nationals. That was the last time I think you didn't have a beard, did you? 2016 at State Line?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, man.
It was actually a bet. Like Ian Riley bet me one time coming back from a race. He's like, dude, can you even grow facial hair? Or can you even grow a beard? I'm like, I don't know, probably. And then
really?
Yeah. So
oh my God.
And then my wife said I looked homeless a couple times, so that made me keep it growing. And then here we are.
Well, you still have the beard, but you did finally retire that TLR cap.
No, I almost. No, I still got it. I almost.
He had it the other day.
Oh.
I almost wore it tonight.
The one that fell in acid, and he pulled it out, and he had to hang dry it with detergent. That one. That thing was pretty messed up, man.
Dude, that's my favorite hat.
Yeah, but You could get another favorite hat of the same hat. It just be new.
I do. I do have a new one.
If you guys haven't seen Cory's TLR hat, holy smokes, that thing is weathered. Like
weathered.
I mean,
when
it's
Kevin
just...
opened State Line, right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. It had a lot of sun.
It's got a few hundred track builds into that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through and answer some questions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of little questions. A lot of people still trying to find a way to get like these top secret information about buggy releases and truggy releases, but I'm going to go through and answer them the best I can. We got Tim Dollar. What's going on, Tim? New 8-skill truggy coming soon. We're working on that. No details about the release date. Can't talk about it, but yeah, new truggy. Everybody's excited. That's all I can really say. Next thing we know, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so Ryan puts up a good point here. It says, no RC for Dummy books available for new people in the hobby. That's why all of our help is vital. And we were talking about this earlier about how hands-on RC, this segment of RC really is, the racing side of stuff. It's so technical that we really need to focus more on helping each other, especially new people at the track. Like if we can kind of, we know who these people are. You can see them a mile away. They have no idea what they're doing with racing equipment, and they're struggling. They don't know what tires to put on. They're just out there doing laps and struggling, maybe breaking parts and stuff. So it is up to us to realize that we can make a difference and help people. It is up to us to realize that we can actually be a part of making this hobby grow. I think a lot of times we sit back and we just want to participate, but we can also be people that actually go out there and do stuff like help people, recruit people into the hobby, you know what I mean? And not just TLR. I think it'd be nice just to see the entire hobby, the racing side of stuff, be very popular, because that means all the teams are doing good. That means the tracks are doing good. That means the hobby shops are doing good. And that means more people are having fun, because we all know this is extremely fun. That's why we do it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, So this is a good thing that Scott Scrivelli mentions. TLR is helping that issue one video at a time. These build videos and setup videos are helping allow the new racers to get a step ahead. That's totally true. We've been putting a lot of effort into trying to put more help out there. I think internally we all know that that we could do more. So with Frank on board, with Ryan on board, these guys are experts at these vehicles. So when they go through and show you how to build them, they're building them to the specs of basically what a pro racer would build it. So their videos, that playlist that I went through and made and organized on YouTube, you can find it out. Check out the TLR YouTube channel. They're under the playlist. There is an 8X Elite build. It features Ryan going through all the steps to make a bag, to make a kit into a real roller. And then we also have Frank Root doing the 22X4 build. It's going through every bag and every step and giving his tips and tricks on how to put it together so that it goes together perfectly and professionally. So these videos are out there to help people out. We've got all kinds of interview videos that we've been doing weekly here at TLR to try to get that message, to get that information, to get that, because we have to pass on the information somehow. Some of the histories of Gil Losi Jr., Todd Hodge, Barry Baker, those guys, they have a lot of history and a lot of experience in this hobby. And if we don't tell their story, eventually, the myth, the legends, they slowly disappear. And that's part of the the mystique of racing, All right, Plixer says, Cory helped me last Saturday with my servo issue at Bill's. Cory is a real stand-up guy. Thanks again, Cory. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. We got him fixed up.
What was the issue?
It seemed as if the servo had like a dead spot in it, or it wouldn't return back to zero, center. So we switched servos. Another servo did it. We switched receivers. It still did it. We switched everything out, and then it turns out it was the speedo. Don't know why, but we took those servos that we thought were bad, hooked them up to my car, hooked them up to Bill's car, and they were just fine. But we got him all fixed up.
Okay, so
I mean, there's a perfect example of a new guy that just got his car, was having problems. I mean, if nobody would have helped him, and everybody jumped in, Bill jumped in, I jumped in, Rob Pauley was over there, Mike Malott came over there, Adam Rails, was there. Like, if none of these guys are helping,
yeah,
he's just gonna go home and set it on the shelf, and that's what we don't need.
That's what we don't want. Is somebody to put that on the shelf and it stay there forever,
Yeah.
And especially when we know we can be a part of them having fun.
Yep.
All right, so Brian Willing, dude, good news. I just bought my first TLR 22 5.0.
Nice.
Cool. I hope it's working out well for you. If you have any questions, hit up any of the TLR team drivers or the RTMs, or myself included. We'll get you squared away with what we can do. All right, so Nathan DeWitt, this is a good question. I just want to buy an 8XT so I can convert my 8T 4.0 to brushless. So it seems like a lot of people have been really kind of waiting for this new Truggy. Do you guys enjoy Truggy? I mean, I guess I've never been like totally like, dude, Truggy, I gotta get one of these. I guess I've never felt that. What do you guys think?
It's pretty popular here in the Midwest. But because that's where all the hill.
So is 4x4 mini Truggy, right?
Not at our track, it's not.
Oh,
I mean, I really haven't. At our track, I've seen like 2 of the mini Truggies.
Okay.
I feel like Truggy's that class that it's like the second class. You know what I mean? Everybody runs an 8 scale buggy, and then in a big race they'll break out the Truggy.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah, are they fun to drive? I haven't had a chance to drive one. They look awesome. I mean, big, bad, beautiful. Like, what else do you need, right?
Yeah. Has Aaron drove one? Has Aaron raced one?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he raced his Truggy.
I couldn't remember if he did or not.
Yeah, he raced the King of Kings last year with it. We were having electrical issues. So, but
I remember that now that you said something.
Yeah,
the electric
gremlins. Oh yeah.
All right.
Truggy, that's Rose's favorite class.
Oh,
really? That's Andrew's favorite class. Nitro Truggy. Last year was his first year. So he loves Nitro Truggy.
What about short course? Which brings me to Damien's question. Any chances of a new short course? Well, I would love there to be a new everything. Let's just say that, okay? Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. So the way the car releases kind of go is by popularity. So right now, short course, not on that top of that popularity list. As a business, you have to kind of make smart decisions in terms of what products to renew and release and update. If there's not a lot of sales in that, it's hard to kind of invest a lot of money when you know something isn't really that popular, and they rather invest money in some other segment like drag racing. But yeah, we'll get to more of that in the future. All right, so Nico List, this is Frank did an awesome job on the 22X4. It's super easy to drive and on any surface. Very true. Frank did an amazing job. These guys, him, Gil, Mike, the 10 skill, the whole development team there did an amazing job. They took something that has been proven, and they made it better. You know, I mean, it was to me apparent when I watched these two cars battle at the track in Slovakia, and the TLR car just seemed to have a little bit extra, man. It was pretty awesome to watch. So kudos to those guys for putting in all that time and work to make sure that project and that car was going to be a success. So hats off to them.
Yeah, it's cool to hear guys, you know, now that we're back racing, people bringing their cars out, and it's good to hear everybody's like, dude, this car's so good. You know what I mean? Like, it just does everything right.
Yeah, this car unfortunately was released during this pandemic time. So I have yet to be able to go to a track. So I haven't even been able to witness other people drive this car on the track. So, you know, so I'm excited and anxious to get back to the track to watch other people drive this thing and see what they think and see what they look like on the track.
Yeah.
So far, what's the news? Have you guys heard much? All positive things so far that I've heard.
All positive, you know, and guys are doing different things. You know, there's some guys like the slippers, some guys are piecing together a center diff from, you know, 4 different hobby shops to get all the parts. And but that's cool though, you know what I mean? Like they're into it, they want to try it, and you know, and a lot of guys are running a lot of different things just to try them out.
Yeah,
and it's all been positive feedback.
Yeah, that's the first thing I've heard, that the car carries a ton of corner speed, and 2, it's just really easy to drive. And that combination, corner speed and it be easy to drive, I think is very, it's a hard combination to find.
Jeff, you putting that mod motor in your 4-wheel?
Yep.
You gonna race it soon? Have you raced it yet?
I haven't even built mine yet.
Somebody's behind. Well, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
We have 2 very distinct seasons here in the Northeast, and that's 10 scale and 8 scale. So usually, like after the Desert Classic, it's switch gears right to 8 scale, get the nitro stuff out, get that stuff built, and we're usually doing season openers in April or May. Of course, there hasn't been any this year. So we have a very hard line in terms of when the seasons change, but I'll build mine, you know, over the next few months, gear up for the 10 scale season to start.
Originally it's supposed to be 8 scale, right? I mean, we're supposed to kind of swing in the 8 scale and get ready for nationals and, you know, do a couple 8 scale warm-up races and stuff, but yeah, not really happening this year.
Yeah, I don't generally race 10 scale personally until the
winter
turf nationals at RC Madness, when we see you, and you know, we've seen you there the last few years. That's usually the first time I have a radio back in my hand after the summer.
Oh wow, really? That's always such a fun race, man. When the weather turns out nice there,
it is a fun race.
Yeah, that track
is awesome.
It's just a combination. The sun brings out a lot. It adds a little bit of extra grip because it heats up the turf surface. So when the cars start running on the heat, it generates even more heat, and then your tires really start to grip up. So like during the day, you see this slow creep up of traction, and the next thing you know, it goes up, and then you're just having a blast, and the car's still free and drivable, and you're just you know just having a great time driving a car. And it's just phenomenal, right? Like
it is, when I first, the grip's up, but you can really drive hard because it's not razor grip, you know, not super precise. It's free.
Yeah.
And that's a big outdoor turf track. So
it's huge, and you get to run some ponies, man. It's so much fun outdoors.
4.5s, 5.5s.
Yeah, that track, it's fun, and then it's always kind of laid back, right? I mean, it's always kind of like a chill. It's less like tense. People are more having fun. It's kind of more just hanging out, driving cars, having a good time, you know, kind of taking it back to those roots, which is fantastic, man. That's a really good race.
Pull the camper right up next to the track.
You guys are right there.
Seat right there.
Yep. Okay, so there was a question about setup sheets. That I found earlier today. Let's see. So a lot of people saying, what's going on to you guys, man? I'm stoked there. There's a lot of people watching this right now. There was a question about the new setup sheet. So I can't really find the question right now. It's way back there, I guess. But there's a new setup sheet that Frank, once again, Frank and Ryan are working on, behind the scenes to get a better, more just easy to read, user-friendly setup sheet that has more dots and bubbles to check off versus things to write down and have to cross-reference. You have to look at the sheet, look at the info, and see what number 2 is, and look back at the picture. Okay, number 2 is the middle hole. Okay, and I got that's right. So there's a lot less back and forth having to understand and decipher what's on the old setup sheet. With the new setup sheet that these guys worked on and released earlier this week. Was it last week? Earlier this week?
Last week and this week.
Yeah, so like about a week ago, they released it to the team, and we've kind of given basically like a beta test where we're using it and seeing if there's any final adjustments before we make it really official, and post it onto the TLR webpage, and then that will obviously be posted to Pettit RC for setup stuff. So we're kind of doing a little testing for it. It is basically done. I think everybody's happy with it. So so we've got a new updated setup sheet that can give you better information, quicker and more just organized. So go ahead.
Yeah, just to look at it, just to glance at it, it's so much simpler to use.
Yeah, like before, I felt like when you just glanced at the old setup sheet, you probably could get about 30% of the information just by looking at the pictures and stuff. But now I feel like you can get about 70-80% of the information from just looking at the pictures and having to read less. You can just look at the dots where they're actually like fixated, and you'd be like, okay, middle hole, and bottom hole is outside hole, and okay, and then just kind of be able to translate that setup a little bit faster without having just to be annoying to go back and forth and trying to figure stuff out. So the 8 scale is done. The 8 scale nitro buggy is done. The 4-wheel drive 22X4 setup sheet is done. So that is going to be close. So you guys are waiting to check out the new setup sheets. I think last time I talked to Frank, says it's once it's official, it'll be ready to go. So I think it's very close becoming fully released to the public. So it's a nice addition. Thanks, Frank and Ryan, for working on that, and whoever was involved with that project. Having just the easier to use setup sheet is gonna save us a lot of time when we're at the tracks trying to get dialed in. So thanks for that, man. All right, so let's go cruise down. So do you guys have, like, I don't really get to ask this from my guests, but do you guys have any questions for me about the team that I could help answer, or maybe share the answer with to the public so people know better?
I don't know. I haven't really. I think there's going to be a flux of people come November when people start silly. There's going to be the T-Tran effect.
I hope that's a good thing. I do.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
So one of the things I forgot to actually talk about, which I was supposed to talk about early in the video or this live chat, was actually about the best way to get on the TLR team. All right. So the way we put people on the team and the way we decide who's going to be a TLR team driver is a little bit different from some of the other teams, I think. Basically, all the other teams, they wait until the end of the year to accept applications, and then just do everything at in November and December. With TLR, it's not so much we're waiting at the end of the year. For me, it doesn't make sense to wait at the end of the year when you could be adding potential valuable drivers to the team mid-year or anytime during the year. So to me, it really depends on who is applying to the team, and so that will kind of take merit on whether or not it's like immediately needs to be added, or if it's going to wait into the pile. So if you have a racing resume, you can email it to me at tlrraceteam@horizon.com, horizonhobby.com, and I'll be able to get it. But that is the slow way to get onto the team, because that email might sit for a while until I'm actually free, or I feel like it's time to add some drivers. If you want the fast shortcut way of being able to potentially get on a team, it's actually driver referrals. So if you know somebody that is currently a TLR driver and they refer you to me or any of the RTMs, then your chances of getting on the team is a lot better, and probably the reaction of the process will get faster. And if you really want the best way to get on a team is actually to get an RTM recommendation. So the reason why I have these RTM guys helping me is so that we can kind of coordinate better that information. So if you can win over one of these RTM guys and get them to recommend you directly to me, and basically I will start looking at that person that same day. So if you get a driver recommendation from them, it goes a lot faster. The slow way is to get a driver recommendation from one of the other team drivers. Anybody, they can reach out to me that can kind of make me aware of that and get their support. I'm going to look at. And then also the regular way is the slow way, which is basically to email your resume in to tlrraceteam@horizonhobby.com. And then I'll take a look at it. But that is not the priority of mine to add people from that list. I'd rather add people that get referred, just because you're getting somebody's backing. You're getting somebody's support. You're getting somebody that recommends you, which is going to go a lot further than a resume and no introduction or a short introduction. You know what I mean? So that is the quickest, easiest way, and I think it's kind of unique. I think this way is actually a little bit better, because I don't have to wait till the end of the year to add people that I feel that are fit to add to the team. And if there's somebody of importance that you guys recommend, any of the RTMs recommend, I'm gonna seriously look at. So that is the exact way of how to be a TLR team driver. Some of those people that are watching, some of you guys are probably very interested on how to move forward with that process, and that's how you do it. Do you think that's the best way, you guys?
Yeah, I do. I think the I think the referral thing, it almost, like, speaking from the Midwest group of guys, it almost keeps the guys like, it's like a tight knit group it's like a family. It's like a group of buddies, because like most of the kids are buddies off the track. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a good way to keep everybody knows everybody, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's my way.
It'd be hard for Thomas to know everyone coast to coast.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you have a role that only you can do, and you're not going to be at all the regional, local races. On a weekend, I'll check Live RC, and I know who drives TLR cars from Maine to Pennsylvania down to Virginia, and I look for the names and see, but never before have we been able to say, hey, there's this young guy, or there's this old guy, or whoever.
Yeah.
He's been really tearing it up lately, and I think we should look into this. But having one national team manager, he couldn't possibly know everyone, and then you would get a resume, like, sounds good, Adam, not Adam. It's like, you don't know, and I need to know. I want to know all the drivers in all the states within this area and get to know them better, so we can, like we've talked before, strategically build a happy team, a strong, happy team.
Yeah. I don't think my personal I guess standpoint on recruiting people or adding people to this team, it's for me, it's not about trying to build the biggest team and build and sell the most kits. Like, to me, that I could care less about that stuff. What I really care about is the experience people have when they sign up to be on a team. And this goes two ways, which is, I think, sometimes missed on one end or the other, the driver's side or the team manager's side. I think it's a two-way street. So your involvement to this team, it really depends on how involved you want to be. A lot of people, when they join the team, they don't ever ask any questions. They don't really get themselves involved. And some people may leave the team and say, yeah, like, I didn't really connect with anybody, I didn't get any help. But it's, you never put yourself out there to get help. So, like, I don't want to have guys that feel like they never were a part of something. Like, we spend a lot of time. You love this. Jeff loves this. Cory loves this. I love this. All the people that are watching this have a love for RC racing, right? And it's up to us to really kind of protect that and help it grow. So I don't want to add a bunch of numbers, have a huge team that no one really cares. Like, none of the guys really care about what they're doing. They're just kind of getting on a team and feeling like they, got some sort of recognition because they made it to a certain place. I don't really care. I want people that actually are motivated and love doing this. I want people that, I want people that don't feel entitled, but they want to go out there and add to it. They don't want to take, but they want to give. If we can get some of those guys, some of our guys, and to think that way, I think we can start to really change the scope of how team dynamics work. I remember being on my first team, and it took me years to get sponsored. And when I finally got sponsored, I just felt like this wasn't anything special. Like, I felt honestly a bit disappointed that I've tried so hard, that I took it so serious. And in the end, when I found out what the experience was like, it wasn't anything that I had imagined. There wasn't really any teamwork. There wasn't really any magic. I wasn't really, like, I felt like I wasn't even there. I felt like no one knew who I was, just because I didn't race mod, and I wasn't a super fast guy who placed well at big races. But I felt like I spent more money than the pro guys did to get to that race. I spent more money on my parts. I spent, I had to take time off from work. So it's like I kind of felt slapped in the face a little bit, where just I don't know, my heart sank, man. I was kind of I was pretty disappointed. And so I from that point on, I just felt like if I was ever in a position to be ahead of something, that I don't want other people to feel that, especially on my team. So
yeah, we want everybody on the team to feel wanted, because let's be honest, I mean, sometimes you go to a race and some guys are on teams that they may never talk to nobody. You know what I mean? Like, and that's an uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody needs to be close.
Yeah, even if we're on different teams, you know what I mean? It's like we can still be friends with everybody. Sure, we can race each other on the track and give each other hell, but off the track, everybody can be friends, everybody can get along. And I think that positivity and that vibe all together just really will start to change everything. And hopefully we can kind of start that all with this team here, because I think most of us are on that same page, which is going to be, like I said, I can't wait till all of us go to a track together, or all of us are at an event together, because I think the energy that we have and the amount and the effort that we want to give to grow this, I think it's all there. We just have to be able to be out there right now, And
that's what's cool about our kid. That's what's cool about all the younger kids on our team, is like, they'll clown around in the pits, sometimes be a little loud, be a little obnoxious, but when it's go time, they're serious.
Yeah, they take off. They take off the clown mask.
Yeah, when it's time to be serious, they're serious.
Yeah. You know, the first time I was really drawn towards this, like, you know, the people that maybe that doesn't understand it yet. They're talking like, you know, they probably think, oh, these TLR guys, you know, they're talking about like how cool how fun their team is and whatever, you know, like whatever. I'm fun, you know, my team's cool. You're like the first time I ever noticed it, this fun, this positivity, was when I went to Fast Lanes. Right, there was a last year in November.
We lose him.
Yeah, I think we lost our leader. Uh-oh.
I know what race he was talking about. You back?
Oh, yeah, sorry. My internet was failing me, and I was like, I
thought mine might go out just because it's storming so hard here.
Oh, shoot. Okay. But yeah, so I was at the Winter Indoor Shootout and Invitational at Fast Lanes. And I was there by myself. Jason didn't come. He had some other event to go to, so I was there solo, and it was the first time I was there at, you know. So I said hello to Chuck, introduced myself. We got along great, and you know, hung out with most of the JC guys. And for some reason, this JC race had a lot of TLR guys, so I got to hang out with Mason, Caden, Tom, you know, Fluffy. All these dudes that were in, you know, from the Midwest. They came, they raced, and it was just a lot of fun, man. Like their spirit, their energy was just awesome. Like it was the first time I really got to hang out with them and and them be the stars. You know, them being the top of the top at that race. So it was kind of cool to see these guys shine and you know, give it their all while they're racing each other, and then like watch them kind of just goof off afterwards and like, you know, go. They were doing like 100-yard dashes out in the front, you know, because they had all this energy, and they wanted to see who was the fastest race like runner. So I'm like, you guys are having a competition who's the fastest right now, and then it's like, I'm like, dude, you guys are just nuts, and they're just out there just competing, doing all this stuff, hanging out with each other, and it was so cool to see that vibe and that energy. Like I said, I've been to a lot of races and I've never felt that. So that's really what kind of drew me to this. And when this position opened up at Team Losi, I was like, I got it. I gotta try. You know what I mean? Like this could be perfect. You know, so and that's really what kind of got me going. It was actually experiencing being around these guys at that race, and then I was like, you know what, these guys are. Dude, they got the right kind of energy, the right kind of attitude. You know, they're having fun. They're positive. They're just running around, and then if somebody needs help, they all go and help this one dude. You know, I'm just like, dude, you're like, there's too many dudes to help, man. You guys are messing it up. No, that's not how you do it. No, you gotta do it like this. And I'm just like, okay, cool. They're battling to see who they could, you know, how they can help this guy. Like, this is sweet. This is what we need, you know, like these guys, this energy, and we just have to kind of focus that with everybody down the road, and hopefully we can build that kind of team atmosphere. You know, I have no reason why we wouldn't be able to do that.
How long did Aaron and Tom sit there and work on Tom's car, or how many times this year at CRCRC? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. They just, you know, everybody just pitches in to help.
Yeah, they just all, like, when one of them's doing something, they all want to do it because they want to jump in and be a part of that. So it's kind of cool to see that energy and that attitude, man. It's a lot of fun. All right, so let's see. All right, Anthony Westergaard looks like he is going to the PNB. So let's talk about potentially our next big race together. What is that? PNB? Is this going to happen?
I think that might be our homecoming for us. We decided. I think we're gonna make a go at it. We've never been to that race. Like, let's do it. It's only 12 hours.
So. Yeah. All right, Cory, are you in?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I went last year.
Yeah, I remember last year. Last year was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
So Cory, you're in. Jeff's in. I'm like 99% sure we're in. Just that 1% just in case, so I'm not a liar. But
well, I'm like you. We're about 85. I gotta logistically, and
because I don't want to be
work's
that
been
guy
a
that
little
says,
slow.
yeah, I don't want to be that guy that says something and then that doesn't end up following up and doing it. So if I say 99%, it's like you can't hold me accountable. I got a back door to get out of this. So,
Yeah.
but
I think the Fullers are going. Tom's going. Anthony's going.
I talked to Dakota. I told him, hey, is this our first race? And he's like, it sounds like it. And I'm like, all right, if this is it, let's start planning for this race and then making and coordinating with everybody else. I think it'd be cool to have like a TLR compound outside, you know, where all the trailers and the campers and all those things do a little review, and then we'll put the TLR tents in the middle. And then we have like a base camp, and then we can kind of just rock in and out. Instead of pitting inside, we can just pit outside and kind of separate ourselves from everybody. And you know, the whole COVID thing, obviously want to be in lower numbers if we can.
Inside, the noise never goes away.
That's the problem with that place, man. It's 16, 18 hours of that nitro noise. You know, I love it, but when it's echoing in a big horse arena, it's not as appealing.
No.
It's honestly kind of just a constant banging, just, I don't know, annoying noise, you know? So
but it's a good time.
So that's what I'm thinking is we do a compound outside, we have the tents in the middle, and then all of us can lounge around and kind of bounce around to people's trailers and hang out and go to the pits when we need to work on stuff. And then, like, you know, obviously we'll have to pay attention to what races is up, and then we can kind of help coordinate each other. Hey, what race is this? And it's like, oh, it's race 20. Oh shoot, I'm up in 5. I gotta get ready. You know, kind of just help each other out with that, so that we can kind of stay out of there. And it should be July, so the weather is probably going to be primo. It might be an awesome time.
What I like about that race is, like, you know, you got pro, intermediate, sportsman, or whatever, but you're going to run back to back to back pretty much. You're going to run, you know, all the pro stuff is buggy, e-buggy, truggy. So you might run, you know, your 3 qualifiers within that hour, but then you're going to have 6 hours to go eat, go back to the hotel, wrench on your stuff or whatever, which makes it pretty nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty nice, especially now that they've kind of tweaked the formula a little bit so that it's kind of in blocks, and that you don't have to be there all day. You can kind of just be there for a portion that you're in, and then you can bounce out. So it is really nice that they set it up that way, where you can break away and know when, like, your block is up, kind of. All right. So, Trevor, great advice when we were talking about how to calm yourself down when things get heated. So, Trevor Montgomery, great advice here. Walk away, breathe, go outside. Marshalling works for my kid. He can get by himself and move forward. So, a lot of drivers do this, right? They take a breather when they go corner marshal.
Give them that 5 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes it's all it needs. It's just a little bit of time to just calm down and think about everything, and then usually you lose that temper, right? You lose that anger. All right, so I just hit one click down, and I got a ton of new questions. Max Kramer, there we go. The Bearded Wonder. Is that your nickname?
I guess. I don't know.
The Bearded
Wonder. That's what Max always says.
All right. Matt Miller says lots of Mountain Dew coming your way, Cory.
I don't drink Mountain Dew.
What?
No Mountain Dew, Matt. I can't drink Mountain Dew.
What was that about?
I don't know.
All right, BB Cruz. BB. All right. Jeffrey Kaufman helped me at Barnstormers. Yep, see? There you go. Good to see Randy Jones on there. Good to see him. Haven't seen or heard from him in a while.
Randall Jones.
Speaking of the Jones, now that I kind of went through and saw his name on the list, last year's winner at PNB, huh?
Yeah, the big moment.
Big moment. I was there for that. I watched it all happen. Super proud of him. Man, I haven't. Yeah, that's been a while.
That last couple minutes was a little nerve wracking.
Shaking. That must be hard to finish and like say you're about to get your first major victory over the pros, right? Everybody's pretty much there, and you're closing it down, you're leading, and you just have a couple laps to go, man. That pressure must be tough.
Yeah,
I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I would think it starts creeping in your mind.
Yeah, in the middle section, you're probably okay. You're probably like, you know what? It's a long race. I got time if things happen. And then towards the end, when you're trying to defend and close it off against some of these big time dudes, and you're just like, okay, when is it gonna happen, or am I gonna hold on?
Yeah,
it's tough.
Am I gonna have enough fuel? Am I gonna have enough fuel for in the last 2 minutes?
My tire's gonna stay on.
Yeah.
Am I gonna flame out?
All the questions.
Yeah. That's what makes nitro so fun. It's so rewarding when when everything goes right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so there we go. Randy Jones, PNB is sick. Randall, are you going to PNB this year? That'll be interesting. All right, so Mike Tuntakit, there we go, man. One thing positive that came out of the COVID shutdown is that we have all gotten to know each other through videos and hear more about inside TLR and Horizon's future. Nothing beats being at the track, but we never would have regionally been connected like we are now. So very true statement there. There's a lot of things that are coming from this pandemic that I think has actually evolved how companies, drivers, teams are connecting now with the public. I think it's been a great move. I'm excited that I'm seeing a lot more content out there. Mayfield's doing stuff. Spencer's has always been doing stuff. I see Tebow's shows going. Podcasts are still popular. So there's definitely a new added layer of social media content for sure. And I think it's good. I think this connection that we have with people, the information that's coming in, it's been really, really nice to see. All right, Jose, I'm trying to get the days off of work to go to PNB, man. Look at
that. Come on, Jose.
Dude, Jose, come on, baby.
He can do it.
You can get this, man. PNB, it is going to go down. I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure. All right, so here, Robert O'Banion. Cory and Ashley Sides have been a lot of help at Bill's RC Hobby Shop and Raceway. Thanks a lot, guys. So that is the kind of thing that we're looking for. If you're helpful at your track, if you can give back, you might be a perfect candidate to be a TLR representative as well. We're looking to add not just speed, but the right guys in the right areas. So pay attention to that.
Yeah, actually, Rock, we call him Duck just because he's so tall. But he was
Duck.
We was he bashed around with his fifth scale and stuff outside, and then once we put the track in, he got a buggy and actually started taking it kind of serious, and he can drive, man. And he's not afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, so Barker Motorsports makes a good comment right here. Just don't hurt your accessibility and visibility to non-team drivers by pitting in a compound and keep it accessible. That is a good point.
Yes.
I think this point would be 100% true. But since we are kind of in this pandemic times and we are supposed to be kind of not being around everybody, I think in this case, I think it would be the right move actually is just to limit our just how exposed we are to everybody, right? We want to keep those numbers down, even if we're going to an event. So I think it'd be okay for this event and maybe a couple of the other events, if we can kind of seclude ourselves, not obviously 100%, but just being a little more cautious of who we are around. So I think this will be okay, to just have a little bit less access, just because traveling and being around larger groups, we don't really know what that situation is yet, especially when it's mid-July. So it might be totally okay, and we could be, like no issues whatsoever, and people are flying and flying and driving everywhere. Or we could be at, a certain number of people in small groups. So we still don't know what the situation is, but yeah, we definitely
it's so sprawled out down there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely see what Barker is saying, that we don't want to kind of limit what people, if they need help, they can come find us and get access to us for sure. But we'll be in and out of the building constantly, and there'll be RTMs and team managers and team drivers around. So I'm sure there is a way to access us if you definitely need help. We are available. Just I think at the go of this, when we get back into racing, we're gonna try to keep the numbers down and limit our access for a little while. I think it'd just be smarter. All right, Barry Baker, wish you could come to the PNB with us. He is. We're gonna miss him sorely as Dakota's mechanic, and I'm sure Dakota's gonna miss having him there too. All right. So, what do you guys think about the whole nationals thing? Before we get off here, I think the questions are winding down. It's almost 9 o'clock. Yeah. What do you think about how that went down? Do you guys feel like it's the right choice? Now that we're talking 8 scale and PNB and all this stuff, do you think it's the right move?
I think it was the right move for the local track. I mean, Roar, I'm sure, had to leave it up to them.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if it was still on, it'd be 3 weeks from about now, just over 3 weeks, and flying is still difficult for some people. I mean, I know I looked into attending a race in Florida in a couple weeks, and if we flew there, we're required to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I can't just freely fly from New York to anywhere without a little bit of scrutiny. But yeah, I mean, LCRC is so entrenched in their community. It was probably right. I mean, it is a big race, and I'm sure everyone wanted to go, but it was probably the right thing to do.
Yeah,
and I think they deserve. Too. And I think they deserve to have that Nats at their track again.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But like that's more on your side of the. Like I think that side over there is kind of still in.
It's a little tighter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but no. I mean, where I live, it's relatively. There's low cases, low counts, but we're in New York.
Yeah.
You get that for sale sign put up yet?
No.
Arizona, baby.
Yeah.
Hobby action every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Sometime, but I have my own business here, and we're here. But yeah, I mean, so a lot of what happens starts in the New York City. Even though I'm 2.5, 3 hours north of New York City, we're still in New York State. So, we didn't see the devastation that occurred down in Long Island and New York City, New Jersey, and areas like that.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a question that keeps getting repeated by Logan Pitch. I'm going to answer this again because I answered it earlier. Is there going to be a new SCTE? The correct answer, yes. The other question that you didn't ask is when. It could be 5 years from now. I don't know. So yeah.
SCT,
Eventually,
I mean, that car is still
there'll
so
be a
good.
new. Yeah, eventually there'll be a new car. It could be 5 years from now. It could be 2 years from now. I don't really know the timeline, but I'm sure there'll be a new SCTE eventually. So answering your question, but not really. Sorry about that. But it's here's your question again. And so you asked the question 3 times. I love people with patience, right? So so Logan, in the immediate future, there is no new SCTE. I would just get an 8 scale, man. Just get a 8 scale. Have some fun. You're almost already there, right? I mean, so. All right. I think that is basically all the question. Oh, one good last question. Austin Russell Schwent. He's asking, when preparing for a bigger race event, what do you mainly focus on before you arrive to the facility?
Well,
Cory?
the more that you prepare your cars and have everything done before you even leave the house, I mean, the better off you're going to be. I mean, and if you know what tires you're running, you know, just have everything ready. So then it makes your day easier and you're on the track quicker and you're just not playing catch up. Because once you get to the track and you're not ready, you're already behind.
Yep.
Yeah. Track time is key. When you're at a big race and you're able to practice more than the next guy, that's an advantage. That's an advantage for you. So the more prepared you are, and then that you don't have to be rebuilding your car during practice, but you're just changing setups. You're just changing things to make the performance better. If you can just focus on that, you'll save yourself a lot of time. If you have to rebuild diffs or shocks at the track, you're losing a ton of time, hours, which means a few battery packs or tanks, you know? So like you have to get practice. That's where the advantage is. The other advantage is being able to get your car set up right, which tires and setup. So that's another performance advantage. So if you can get your practice in, that's a performance advantage. If you can get your car dialed in with the right tires and setup, another performance advantage. And then so the rest you just have to kind of not crash, and hopefully you can do well that weekend, right?
Yep,
for sure.
Yeah, making sure. Primarily nowadays with tires. I mean, if it's 10 scale, we know we're going to be on slicks at some point. So having enough treads already mounted. I mean, we'll always grind them when we're there. We don't pre-grind our slicks, so I want them to be fresher right there. So having as many tires that you might need mounted and ready to go, that saves a ton of time.
Yeah.
And then having like shock internals, fresh seals, bushings, so you're not having to pull apart a shock because, oh, well, they should be a little fresher. But having things that you absolutely know you can do at home before you get to that race, having as much done as possible so you do have time to hit the track.
Yeah, and then Trevor Montgomery adds a great bit here. If you're going someplace you have never been, contact a local or a track owner and ask questions about the setup, grip level, tires, and if it's slicks or pins. Very good point, because if you don't know what tires to bring, you know, if you've never been there, how do you know what tires to bring? Well, you gotta do some research. You gotta talk to people that have that's been there, or talk to the track owner and he'll help you out with some sound advice with what tires work there, and generally what motor turn maybe, or what setup guys are kind of liking, or maybe what sauce to have. So it doesn't hurt to help out, to ask information. Obviously we're telling you be well prepared, but maybe to you you're wondering, well, what does that really include? How do I get well prepared? So another way, if you don't know what tires, ask somebody. Ask somebody at the local track there, or or find out who the team the track owner is. Most tracks have a Facebook now, so that you can go on there and there's already a messaging that pops up and says, that if you have any questions, you can just ask this thing, and they'll get you some questions or get you some answers. So it's so easy. So you just stop by the track that you're going to be racing at, maybe drop a question or two, and ask about tires and some extra info, and then you'll be well prepared, right?
Yeah, an intense skill. I mean, you want to get your tires right before you start making all kinds of setup. Spending time on all your changing your setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is another mistake a lot of people make, is like when they first get to a big race weekend, they go out and practice right away, and then they're looking to change their car with all these wholesale changes because it's not working very well. That is a huge mistake that people get into because they're setting up their cars for a track they're not racing on. They're setting up their car for a track that's loose. But by the time you actually qualify and race, the conditions are so much different that you end up actually going back to what you had before, and then you've wasted a lot of time playing around your setup, trying to nail your setup for a loose track that is no longer loose, that's grooved up and super high bite, and then now you have to change your setup again. So for new racers, just remember that practice is practice. Go out, practice, learn the track. And then at the end of the day, usually the guys will start to make the adjustments as the track starts to evolve and settles and kind of neutralizes itself from changing. There will be a point where the track kind of stops changing, and each day will kind of evolve into the same amount of grip level. It just kind of resets because tracks water, or something happens, the weather changes or something. So just don't get in a habit of changing too many things during practice. Wait till the end when the track is actually going to be closer to what you're racing on. All right, so that is about it, guys. That is the show for today. Thanks for joining me, Geoffrey and Cory. It's been a super delight to talk to you guys, get to know more about you guys, and hopefully more people to know about the TLR team here and the RTM project. So I'm excited for it. I'm glad that you guys are on board. I know we're going to make a difference. I've already started hearing it from other people, and I've already started seeing the difference come up, and it's only been 2 months. So by the end of the year, when we're all running full speed and handling the business, I think we're going to be changing the team structure for the positive here throughout the industry.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm super excited. I'm excited to get back.
Fun.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a journey. Thanks for being a part of this, and thanks everybody for watching and being a part of this show. It's not easy to schedule out the guests and everything and do the extra work, but I enjoy it. Like I said, when I wake up on Thursdays, this is like, all right, I wonder how this is going to go tonight. This is going to be interesting. So, I'm excited for the changes that are going to happen, that have already happened or started to happen, and I'm looking forward to what we can build.
Awesome.
It's
been
Cory,
it's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Jeff, thanks for everything, man. Been having a lot of good conversations with Jeff, and just ideas on how to improve things or how to slimline things and or streamline things and make things better and more efficient. So it's been fun working with all these guys. We're coming up with good ideas, and we're hopefully being able to implement them down the road, and get this, restructure this team, add more energy, positivity, fun, and hopefully helpfulness. So those are the 3 things, right? Fun, positivity, and being helpful. So that's what we're going to be focusing on for this immediate future, and I hope the rest of the team embodies this, which I don't see them not. And then we can kind of go in there and make a difference and hopefully improve the racing, starting with us. So thanks, guys. Good night, and we'll catch up with you all later.
See ya.
All right. Thanks.